Just YouTube, I guess, huh?
Wonderful.
You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Mike still going and everything? All right. I'm honestly just really glad I managed to make it back this week to... Wait, I wanted to switch back to that chill lo-fi. There we go. Oh, not lo-fi. This was it. I'm just going to keep messing with all this stuff. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Glad I made it back to hang out with you guys this week. I was definitely in the hospital last night.
Oh, man.
So, you were so nonchalant about it. I'm like,
yeah, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, getting older, not taking care of myself the way I should be. Gotta be better about that. So, shout out to you boys. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Look after yourself,
I'm not. I should.
Drink more.
Well, at Easter, my wife's family made all this dessert stuff. So I definitely had a huge piece of chocolate cake with ice cream. And that was like lunchtime. And then later on, I had another piece of cake when I got home with ice cream. So I thought I need to cut back on the sugar just so I don't start getting pre-diabetic or whatever. I was doing pretty good today. Like I said, we got this cappuccino or whatever machine to make Starbucks drinks, basically. And so my wife would make me one every morning. I told her, not today. I'll get black coffee. I'll cut down the sugar, and then I have ice cream for dessert. But I thought I could have that because I didn't have, I skipped the sugary coffee, right?
Absolutely.
I drank Coke Zero.
Yeah. Balance.
And that's probably one of the worst things I do is drink soda. I need to drink way more water. And I like water,
I drink like 3 of these a day. So I'm pretty sure it's not really helping me out. I need to.
It's a lot of sugar, but it keeps you hydrated.
It's like I'm hydrated, but it's like 34 grams of sugar. That's really
that's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah,
not the best.
I do like there's only like one Gatorade Zero that I like.
Yeah, I hate the zeros. They suck so bad. Oh,
sorry. Man, I just
messed up a sponsor for us. My bad. Sorry.
I mean, I agree. Most of them not great. There's one, the like Glacier Cherry or whatever, that I don't mind, and it tastes pretty good for a zero. But all right, everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Page. I am Dan Boyer, aka Neon Super Shrimp, joined here with Ashton Nix and Chris Robb. Hopefully, Ross will be joining us here shortly. But man, I'm pretty excited about everything going on right now. We got a lot of stuff happening in the background. I feel like I've been saying that the last couple of weeks too, but I'm real pumped about it now because it feels like some of these things have actually come to fruition now. We've got some new sponsors. We've got some new stuff happening here with our stream and our layouts and stuff. We're doing a lot of work in the background. And actually, one thing I kind of wanted to show and talk about here was we got our Peak One Sports logo here. But shout out to Tony and Apogee Grafix, who went and gave us a little facelift this week. Ashton actually kind of, put it out first.
It's been a couple of weeks. It's been a couple while, but we haven't. We still use that as our main logo. We have that other logo, more like bottom corner of the screen and some shows and stuff. But yeah, it hasn't been our main logo for long.
Yeah. But give us a little facelift. I love this thing though. I'm sorry I just noticed, to be honest. Then if it's been around for a couple of weeks, I feel bad because I love this thing. I think it looks amazing. All right, you guys ready for this? Boom. I think that looks so good, man. That looks so good.
That's tough.
I love that.
That's really tough.
Right? I like that a lot.
Let me show this off. Put me as the big screen, Dan. Another Apogee Grafix, if you can. I don't know. I mean, because I can't see this when I put it up there, so I'm assuming but you'll get the gist of it. Make sure it's right side up. But Apogee Grafix, I just picked this up today. A metal sign for Peak One. So I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. Whoa. If I didn't take down my building first. But yeah, that's it. That's good. Cool deal. It's kind of big to just hang up in here. I may save it for events or something like that. But
that's nice.
Shout out Apogee Grafix. Got their hat on too.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, Glow Up Media. I also really like that logo though, man. That looks really good. So I'm pretty excited. Is music too loud for y'all? I want to keep it kind of
No, it's perfect, dude. It's nice and mellow. I like it.
That was a little too much. There we go. All right, cool.
There we go.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's not too loud. We can still hear each other and everything.
Hey, before Ross jumps on here, I mean, interrupt you. We wanted to have bets on like what his tie's gonna look like tonight.
What's gonna look like tonight?
What color?
Dude,
your
mic's cutting in and out. What's up?
Green stripes.
Green stripes. Can you hear me, Dan? Am I coming?
There it is. Yeah.
I said,
tie?
Yeah. What's his tie gonna look like?
Oh man.
I'll say red. I don't know why. I don't remember.
I was gonna say blue.
First.
So I'll take it. I'll take the blue horse.
Okay. Extra points to Chris if there's stripes on it because he went bold and said green with stripes.
Yeah.
That's a specific bet. Like that's a man who knows what horse he wants to bet on right there. All right. Well, as we kind of start to kick this off and everything, let's go ahead and shout out some of these sponsors that we got. Ashton, help me out with my betting, man. Like, what'll make me a better bettor? Make me win a little bit.
We say don't bet with your gut. Chris, I think you were betting with your gut there when you were thinking green stripes. I don't know if you checked in with Betalytics to see the over-under.
I should
the
have.
odds on Ross's tie, but yeah, don't bet with your gut. Check out Betalytics and get help making your picks using their AI algorithms. You can use promo code PEAK1 and you get 25% off when you sign up today. Go to Betalytics.com to start betting smarter.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
I need some wins, man. I definitely put a bet down on opening day. Anybody put any parlays down on any baseball yet?
I put a season long one out, like a home run type parlay. I didn't.
Okay.
I think I did. I'm
you
stuck
didn't say
on
Josh Young,
right
did you?
You
didn't put an over on Josh Young, did you?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm actually looking at it up right now. Let me see. So I have over on Yordan Alvarez, Rafael Devers, and then hits Bobby Witt Jr., Freddie Freeman, and Vladdy. So
Vladdy, nice.
Yeah. So I mean, he has 4 hits right now. Freddie Freeman has 9. I should have put a bet on Mookie Betts because he's
going off.
crazy. Yeah. 5 home runs, 6 home runs in the first few games. It's insane.
Yeah, did y'all hear about the Bryce Harper 3 home runs last night? His last one, the third one, grand slam.
Right? Yeah.
He was hitless going,
which is really funny too. Because did you happen to see him fall into the dugout and then the ball landed like 10 feet infield?
No, I didn't even see that.
It's ridiculous. If you can find that video, you should totally watch it because he's tracking it and then he like flips into the dugout, and the ball falls after he falls in infield. It's really stupid. Oh man. All right, let's shout out this other sponsor of ours real quick. Say goodbye to unruly behavior and hello to a well-mannered pup. Dapper Dog Academy stands out as a top-notch canine training institute located here in Cleburne, Texas, and serving the DFW Metroplex. Owner and trainer Korri Bennett has nearly 10 years experience helping your canine companions become the best version of themselves. With personalized training programs tailored to suit your pup's unique personality and needs, Korri's committed to helping your pet reach their full potential. Contact Korri and the Dapper Dog Academy on Facebook and schedule your consultation today.
I need to get with them. I have a very unruly golden retriever.
I'm about to get it.
Not unruly. He's just a little wild, but I mean,
how old is he?
Almost a year old, but he's huge.
Yeah.
He's huge. That's his thing. He's a puppy, but he's a normal sized dog.
So
he's a big dog, but he's normal size for
a grown baby just running around. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what we were told. He's the golden retrievers are the best dogs in the world. You just had to put up with them for about 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to eat your house, and that's true. He's eating a hole in our wall. I mean, he's better now. This was a long time ago.
That's why you need Korri.
Seriously, yeah, we need to get.
I
need to get with
right
the Dapper Dog Academy.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, so this week we got. I mean, it was a crazy good week of baseball, and then we've also got the Final Four coming up this weekend, and NBA playoffs are 11 days away. Mavs have about 7 games left. Let's just go ahead and kick off. Let's talk about this Final Four going into this weekend. I think we got some unexpected teams in here. Ashton, you want to kick us off with this? I know you had to be a little bit.
I mean, I don't think I had a chance to win after Houston lost. I was happy because I'm a Duke fan. I had Houston beating Duke and winning it all. And Duke wins. That's fine. That's great. And then they go out and lose to NC State and ruin the whole thing anyway. So, yeah, no, it is a great run. But I have no dog in the fight. No team left. My bracket's completely shot if it wasn't before. But hey, I don't think anybody's going to stop UConn. It's pretty ridiculous.
Man, UConn does look real good, Chris.
Yeah. UConn. That last game I watched, I was like, yeah, it doesn't really look like any team can kind of even compete with them, let alone beat them. They're 30-0 run coming out of the half. That's probably I watched it live, and it was probably one of the greatest college basketball runs I've seen personally. And they they do it all. They shoot, they have the big man inside, they rebound, play defense. But maybe Purdue will give them a good game. I have that as the championship. I feel like Zach Edey will be too much for NC State. With him dropping 40 and he's 7'5" or however tall he is. But I think NC State will kind of fizzle out. I think it'll be Purdue, UConn, and I think UConn will be just a little bit too much for him. But I think I had Purdue and UConn going into the Final Four, but I definitely didn't have NC State. So
yeah.
Man, to be honest, I was just looking at this and I was thinking about it earlier. I personally think no matter what the result is, we're going to end up with a pretty good final. I'd really like to think that the 2 ones come out and UConn and Purdue end up in the final. But I said it when we were picking our brackets and everything. And I feel like I'm going to stand by it, right? And it's kind of crazy to even think about, but I picked Purdue to win the whole tournament and everything, but damn it if Purdue doesn't love to get upset by double-digit teams and they're about to play number 11 in this Final Four.
They're deep,
and NC State, and NC State has played well. They've shown up and they've beaten their opponents. I mean, I think the closest gap so far for them was 6 points. They've managed to really win these games.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's hard. It's almost hard for me to bet against NC State right now. It just feels like they're doing a lot and they're doing it really, really well.
Yeah.
Their poise really is what I think is just giving them. And I mean, they're playing great defense is the other thing, but and so it would be really cool to see NC State make it to the final. I'm with you, Chris, though. I think it's going to be UConn and Purdue. But damn it, if Purdue just doesn't love to get upset by those double-digit teams,
they're almost like Virginia,
and here it is, So I feel like I would not be surprised. I'll probably post it on the Facebook if it happens too. Not surprised here. I mean, I think it'll be close. NC State will definitely make it a close game. They're not laying down for anybody. And they've played some really tough competitive games, but I definitely think UConn is the team to beat, and I think Purdue can manage to get over NC State. So Alabama, I almost feel like Alabama doesn't belong here. They got a little lucky.
I mean, Alabama,
they're playing better basketball than I've seen them play in a long time. But
they led the country in scoring, so that that's what you really need at the end of the day. And I mean, they just got hot at the right time. I feel like their matchups were really well. They kind of, I don't want to say they had an easy road because they didn't, but I feel like the way they match up, because I feel like the tournament is all about matchups, and the way they matched up with pretty much every team was kind of in their favor. They love to run, they love to shoot. They were averaging 90 points a game in college. So I see them and I'm like, I'm not really surprised. Well, I am. They're the odd. I feel like they're the odd team out, other than NC State, obviously. But them averaging 90 points a game, I feel like that was bound to come to fruition.
For sure, man. It's like Nick Saban left and they became a basketball school. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
They were good. They were
If they can get past UConn, I mean, they definitely deserve it, right? Like,
I mean, honestly, I'm totally rooting for the
Yeah.
underdogs in this. It would be amazing to see like Bama and NC State in the final, just to like kind of be like, what? Like, I don't think anybody put that on their bracket. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it would be kind of cool to see. But I definitely think it's going to be the number ones, and
that would be
you
a
know,
great matchup.
for the sake of competition, I think that's going to make for the best final.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, we'll see. They still got a game each to win to get there. So
Yeah.
Final four games are on Saturday. Final is on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So got that coming up. Who's taking it all? Ashton?
Yeah, I'll take it all. No, UConn. It's got to be UConn. I mean,
UConn.
Purdue looks like they
match up. What they match up?
Yeah, I think Purdue
yeah.
matches up well.
Yeah.
If NC State makes it, I mean, I don't think there's any chance NC State does anything.
20-point game.
It's got to be UConn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be UConn. My bracket absolutely needs it to be Purdue. It's the only team I have left, and it is the one that I picked to win the championship. So I need those points. But man, these brackets, huh? You two and our group pick all tied for fourth place, which pretty impressive.
Okay.
Ross is in 8th. I'm in 10th, which honestly surprises me because Ross had, picked Kansas. But Kansas got upset, but he managed to get more picks than I did right on his bracket. So he's beaten me by a few. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll definitely see what happens, but I definitely think UConn's gonna end up taking it in the end. But for my bracket's sake, I need Purdue.
Yeah, UConn's a beast.
Man, honestly, I'm super surprised at our group pick for the. I was actually just gonna pull it up here real quick.
Yeah,
the bracket we put together here live.
Yeah. Just because this is actually my cousin Rachel here tied for first with Robbie Moore. Robbie had 3 brackets.
3 of the 4. Oh, 3 brackets. I was about to say.
And Nolo was in first place for like the first 2 weeks of this thing. Man, it was crazy. Their bracket was nearly perfect for the longest time. And then there's you two here in the sports page, which I think this is so funny that the 3 of y'all. Oh yeah, see, it looks like Chris, you don't have any points left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is your final here.
I was trying to like be risky and then put in Arizona and
It's a bold pick.
Arizona and Marquette. Yeah. Because I feel like if you that's how you win those things. Like if they make a run, then all of those points go to you, But like
right.
Yeah, it was just kind of a risky thing to do.
Yeah, I can get points with UConn, but I feel like everybody can get a point with UConn. I haven't looked at y'all's brackets, but did we all have UConn in the finals?
I think so. Yeah.
So it kind of cancels out. So I'm not moving up the bracket. Yeah. I guess it just helps me if Purdue doesn't win because of course
I'm the only one that actually didn't have UConn in the finals.
Okay, so if UConn wins and Purdue loses, I definitely stay ahead of you then.
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, I think you might stay ahead of me, period. But, well, it looks like I can get up to, what is this, 90, 108. So I guess I got a chance, but Purdue's got to, like, win the whole thing for it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, I mean, it was a fun bracket. Honestly, I hope we get more people involved next year, and maybe we can do something for the winner, a T-shirt or something. We'll figure it out. Whatever.
Fantasy football's right around the corner, man.
But
that's true.
And I had actually just learned, I guess, Ashton, we have a Dynasty. Is it Dynasty League? That's
not a Peak One deal. That's just separate. We had a Peak One that was Cole who did that, the Bungalow Sports Show. He's currently not doing videos. I don't know. I think he might come back. So I'll get a league together for just Peak One because Dynasty leagues they're cool, but after the first year, you're not really drafting rookies. So we'll do a traditional one, and maybe live stream the draft. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
for sure. That'd be a lot of fun.
I'll still get you in on the Dynasty one also, but yeah, I'll set us up one. Whoever all wants to get in, and we'll do one like that. It'll be fun, getting bragging rights and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be cool, and it would also be cool to live stream and like kind of share the whole draft process. I'm definitely willing to get judged for my mediocre draft skills, but let's see. I feel like we pretty much covered the NCAA now, the Final Four.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, just because I want to talk on it just real briefly and everything. How did y'all feel about the whole Angel Reese thing after that LSU Iowa game? She was just to kind of give the context, I guess, in the press conference afterwards, she was kind of talking about how, she kind of catches a lot of flack for like how she acts and things like that. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't necessarily feel like it's fair, and she hasn't really been happy since winning the national championship last year. But I mean, I feel like there's a lot of conversation to have about this.
Yeah, I've seen people call her a sore loser for that. I've also heard people say that, don't worry about being, I can't even remember the phrase, but you shouldn't be a sore loser or good, or if you're a good loser, you're just a loser. So don't worry about it. I'm kind of in the middle there. I'm like, no, I'm going to teach my kids, don't be a sore loser. But
class,
when you compete at that level, just to be able, it's one thing to be athletic enough to be able to compete at the highest level in women's college basketball. But one, you're giving your entire life to that. Another thing, you have to have that competitiveness. Like a lot of times people can get over losing easily because they're just not very competitive. Mm-hmm. Obviously you have to be competitive to be in that. So I get it. You have pretty much the biggest loss of the biggest athletic competition loss of your life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you're required to go in and talk about it on camera right after. So I try to give flack to some of the people who react the way they do in interviews because they're required to. Like, they're not, as long as they're not going off cussing and doing, acting psychotic. Like, we've all acted way worse than that in very petty situations, not even up to that level. So, she probably shouldn't have said it. She's going to get flack because it's kind of been her and Caitlin Clark back and forth. People have kind of picked sides. And when you lose and you look like you're being a sore loser, you're going to get flack for it. I mean, that's part of it.
I mean, I think my biggest issue was probably just that, like, she kind of has like labeled herself kind of the villain, and she plays the role. She leans into
she was what she was doing, pointing at her finger when they won last year, and like,
leaving the crown on the bench.
If you do that when you win, you're gonna put up with it when you lose,
right? And that's really what I'm saying is like, and it's part of the gamble, I guess. Like you talk smack and whatever, and sometimes you come out on top. Sometimes you're the victor, and it's fine. Sometimes it ends up looking bad, tacky, and whatever, and. I mean, I don't hate her for the tactics, I guess, necessarily. I will say that, like, necessarily, like, the pointing at the ring, that didn't bother me as much as it kind of bothered some other people, I guess. Just because, like, you see that same stuff out of guys.
Yeah, Steph Curry does it.
Yeah, or like the watch, that kind of thing. It is what it is, It's just a part of it. And it was the same thing with like the crown on the bench. I was like, honestly, like, I thought it was a clever move, and she's got the crown until you take it from her. You know what I mean?
Right,
So, and I mean, she did. And that's what happened. So it just, I guess that's what the bad look is for me. Is it's like after you make a move like that to go and I agree with you, Ashton, because like it's got to be tough to go into an interview right after a game. Emotions are still high, and to like clearly kind of state, ethically and everything.
I mean, there's definitely a right thing to say and not necessarily just the wrong thing to say, but she did not say probably the right way. But at the same time, it is what it is. They're all athletes. Everyone wants to say, hey, I like this person. I don't like this person. They want to put labels on it. They want to be fans. They want to be political with it. And they're just players. I mean, there's no reason
For
for
sure.
me to dislike her. I don't dislike
No.
LSU in any way. I'm not really a huge women's college basketball fan anyways. I mean, there's
I'm
no
not either,
reason
but
for
that
me
game
to
was
dislike
good.
her. Yeah, it was a great game.
Great.
But I'm not a big enough fan for it to be like, well, she plays for the Eagles or she plays for a team that, you know, a rival
Right.
of one of my teams at all. It's like,
I mean,
there's no
I
reason for me
definitely
to
think
dislike her.
she's definitely talented. She's a gifted ball player.
Yeah, she's
and I
definitely
mean,
gonna
her
be-
stat line said that too. You know, I mean,
20 rebounds, 7 points, 17
Yeah.
yeah,
points.
she played a great game.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark played an
Caitlin
outstanding.
Clark
game.
is just a bet. She's just a better player, and
Yeah,
it just you
and I
just come
mean-
across it like whenever she was hitting shots, Angel Reese was like, you know, and then you
Yeah,
know,
what are you
the
what
other,
are
I
you
forgot
gonna
her
do?
name, Haley Van Liff, you know, she was like, I can't do
Are they-
anything about it. It just is what it is, you know.
Are they both
you know,
going to the WNBA? I mean, I know Caitlin Clark was offered money from the Big Three,
Yeah,
but I mean,
wouldn't
are
do
they
that.
both leaving? Are they both leaving college?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
I
gonna be
believe so, yeah.
interesting. So they
And
could go 1 and 2 in the draft.
I was about to say in the WNBA, doesn't like the best team get the first pick or something like I can't remember how that draft goes.
No, I think it's still similar to NBA, but I mean, there's only like 12 teams, so I know it's a lot easier because I want to say like the Dallas Wings had 3 of the first 5 picks a couple years ago. It's not. I mean, correct me, listeners, if I'm wrong. It's similar to like the NBA draft, but I do think they get extra picks for other things as well. But that'd be interesting if I know Caitlin Clark seems to like she's going to go number 1 overall in the draft, but that'd be interesting if it's like 1 and 2, and that'd be something to kind of follow. Like they were rivals for a couple of years. It's kind of like Magic and Bird.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about the ratings of the WNBA have been through of the women's college basketball tournament have been through
They
the
had
roof.
12 million viewers or something like that. Yeah,
And that's kind of how the how the NBA started being televised more was when Magic and Bird got in there.
Yeah.
So maybe this is like the Magic Bird. I mean, hey, black and
they're
white players
up-and-coming stars too. They're more
Yeah,
up-and-coming
exactly.
stars.
I mean,
Juju Watkins, you have Paige Beckers. You know, there are a lot of up-and-coming stars, and a lot of, I feel like social media has done, a great advantage for them as far as just showing how, great these players are, fighting for that equality, also giving them that airtime. And for them to have 12 million viewers, they put a list of how many viewers there were over, like, I think it was like the SEC championship game and things like that. Like, it's good to get those eyes onto those players because they're playing some really good basketball.
Yeah. Sorry if y'all could hear that. There was a very, very low flying helicopter. I thought he was about to land over here. I've never, like, it was vibrating and everything. I don't know if y'all could hear that.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear it. I was actually worried y'all could hear the dogs barking in my backyard.
There's a
over here,
guy outside of the office, like, yelling. So I was like, okay, let me try to.
Oh, see, so we've all got problems.
We've all got stuff going. It's all good.
Yeah, but I think this Caitlin Clark Angel Reese thing I don't think the WNBA is gonna reach the popularity of, anywhere near the NBA, but I think it might be like a turning stone for it if both of these players. I'm going to follow the WNBA a little bit more just to see what happens.
It'll be. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's damn near impossible for the WNBA to get as popular as the NBA. But
yeah, nowhere near that. But they have their own little.
They
can
viewership to the NBA. So WNBA. So I feel like it'll be good for them. Yeah.
No, women's sports has definitely been on the rise over like the last 5-10 years. It's been growing a lot. To be honest, I would probably argue that a big part of that growth came from like the women's national team and all the winning that they were doing there in like the early 2000s and everything. And I think that helped a lot, bring a lot of attention to that. Then I think the level of talent in the college basketball and the WNBA has also been like really, really good the last few years and everything.
Caitlin Clark's a pioneer. I think she's the reason it's going to blow up because I was in Kansas City and
I agree.
They were like people walking the streets with Caitlin Clark shirts. Like, all their games are sold out. They were able to sell out the football stadium for a basketball game. So it's
Isn't that awesome? I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. So it's like
it's cool to see the growth in it and everything. And man, in all honesty, what I think is also kind of funny to talk about, is like, sports gambling makes it just as popular too. The sports gambling on that Iowa LSU game was unreal.
It was higher than any other NBA game.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what I had read exactly what it was.
NBA game.
Yeah, but I was like, with all this popularity and everything, and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, I can't imagine they end up on like the same team or anything. So some of that rivalry will carry over, and we'll see.
Yeah, that would kind of ruin it. I think.
That was I'd be like,
I think that's what you want. I mean, it's one thing like you have, a Tiger Woods type deal where he kind of brought golf up a little bit, but he needed rivals too. And if you put them on the same team, it's kind of like you might make a super team out of it. But
yeah, when Phil Mickelson and him did like that, it was like a charity type thing. I don't know. I was like, I don't know. It's kind of like when I know they're friends, but like whenever like LeBron and KD like hug and like, or Steph and LeBron like are like very much cool with each other, I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
come on. It's like we know it's all entertainment, but still, I mean,
like I want to, because that time when LeBron seemingly hated Steph and vice versa, in that rivalry, like I was tuned in, and it's almost like nobody liked Jordan, and he was rivals with everyone, and Kobe hated the Spurs, and it was just kind of like I just feel like it made the competition better as far as a viewer standpoint.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Steph Curry, tough loss for the Mavs last night. In Golden State.
Clay travel.
Man, that game was back and forth. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I was at the VA at the time, but every time I tuned in, it was like a new lead change, or it was tied, or whatever.
Yeah, and, they made a little bit of a comeback.
It came back down to that fourth quarter, and tough
one. They played with a lot of heart. They didn't have Lively, so
had to bring it.
I don't think their run's done just quick. I mean, because they won 7 or 8 straight, so.
And that's a tough loss, and at a tough crowd, like at a tough arena too. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Golden State's been playing terribly at home this year, which is always a crazy stat to kind of talk about. Most teams have a home field advantage. These guys just do not this year.
And it was kind of a makeup game too. So I think they were supposed to play it a couple of months ago. So when you kind of fit a road game in the middle there of your schedule, it's kind of like a road back-to-back game. It's like it's probably even counted as lost.
They play them again in like 2 days or something like that.
Tomorrow they play the Hawks, and then they play the Warriors again.
Back in Dallas
here at home. Yeah.
Yeah. Back in Dallas.
So 3 games at home: Hawks, Warriors, Rockets. Then we go away for the Hornets and the Heat, back home for the Pistons, and we end the season at Thunder.
Should end strong. That Thunder game is going to be tough though.
And 7 games. Did I count right? 7 games.
7 final games, 11 days.
That's what I was about to say. I counted 5 wins there.
Yeah, 5-2.
Definitely Pistons. I'll even say the Thunder's a loss. Especially that's the last game of the season.
Yeah,
it's going to mean something.
Depending if it means something to who it means something for, it the Mavericks may be locked into a spot or vice versa. That may be like, hey, we know, let's not kill ourselves to try to move up or something.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I think
the Thunder are a game back of the number 1 seed, so it might mean everything.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. Mavs are number 5 right now. Teams 7 through 10 make the play-in tourney to try and make the playoffs.
Yeah, Mavs
so
are
right now
5th?
The Mavs are doing fine, and as long as they just don't go on this just a losing streak on these next 7 games, we're only 2 games behind the Clippers, 7.5 behind number 1 Denver. But there shouldn't be any reason for us to drop to 7 to 10, unless something just crazy happens. And I mean, Luka's on having a great season. I got it written down here: 33.9 points a game, 9.8 assists, 9.2 rebounds. I mean, he's almost averaging a triple double.
Yeah, and he's second in MVP voting. But
yeah,
that's
I mean, which is tough because I mean, Jokic is.
I think Luka is just. I'm probably being a homer, but it's like his stat line and the way he's carried the Mavs all year, and the fact that they were, playing, and now they're what they won. They won 7 out of the last 8, and his numbers are just incredible. He's put up a 73-point game this year. He's just carrying them.
They're a 5th seed though right now. That's what it is. Yeah,
and it's just like if someone is. I get it. Like Joker is doing what he's doing, but like I just feel like Luka's season is just more impressive.
If they can move up to a 4th seed, I can see him. But I think the fact that they're playing for. I mean, now they're a 5th seed, but most of the year they've been like a 7th or 8th seed.
8th seed. Yeah, they've been an 8th seed.
So maybe that helps, but I think that's really what's hurting him is the Mavericks.
That's all it is,
4 team. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to agree. It's almost common sense, I guess, in my head that like when you have the number 1 team, Denver, playing good basketball, and you have a guy like Jokic, like naturally he's in an MVP talk. You know what I mean? He's the best player on the best team. But then you have a guy like Luka on a much more like mid kind of team, like still good competitive team, but like they're fighting to be in it. They're fighting to stay in it at where they are at this 5 seed spot. And Luka's the guy that's really getting it done. I like Kyrie, and he brings a lot to the team, and he helps take a lot of pressure off of Luka and everything. And he definitely, great with the assists and all. But I think it's Luka that's really kind of being like the leader on this team. That's helping the Mavs compete at the level that they're actually competing at right now. So I totally agree with you, Chris. I think ultimately like Luka is the better player in my mind because of what he's doing on the team that he's on.
Yeah. It just reminds me of like the mid 2000s. Trying to think of the year, 2006, and Kobe was averaging like 35 a game, and he carried the Lakers to I think they were like the 8th seed. He like basically carried them to the 8th seed, and then Steve Nash was the best player on the best team. I think they won like 60 something games, and they gave it to him. And it's like he's averaging 35 a game, with Smush Parker. Not saying that Luka doesn't have like help with him. He does.
Right. Yeah.
But someone coming off of a championship, they have a championship roster. Luka, him and Kyrie first year together. Trades within the season. He's averaging almost a triple double, with 30, with leading the league in scoring. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's hard to like shake your head at that, And I mean, I hate to like beat a dead horse here, but like I said, like Jokic on a championship team versus like Luka trying to make a championship team, I think is a big kind of asterisk you got to put on the conversation. It's like, I'm not trying to say Jokic's not good. I like Jokic. And to be honest, actually, I had a conversation with my uncle a while back. He was like, like what player would you love to see like just teamed up with Luka? And I was like, honestly, I'd love to see Jokic. That would be amazing. I can't imagine that would ever happen just because of, pay and whatnot. But I mean, we'll definitely see what happens. I definitely think the Mavs are going to make the playoffs, and like I think we all kind of agree. I think we should be able to get 5 wins out of these 7 games here. So pretty good end to the season. I can't say necessarily we'll overtake the Clippers. Again, we'll see what happens. I'm not exactly sure who the Clippers got to play over the.
Yeah, you have to rely on the Clippers to lose some games. I mean,
they can
because if you go 5-2, they theoretically can only win 3 or 4. They have to lose quite a bit, which I mean, I'm surprised the Clippers are still ahead of the Mavs because they've kind of been down spiraling.
Well, that's what makes last night's loss tough too, because it was a Western loss to Golden State's number 10 right now. So so that definitely made it real tough, but looking forward to it.
Because you're talking about the difference and if it's a 4 and 5, I mean, that's who you play is the Clippers, and this way you get the home court advantage.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Clippers. I feel like Luka does pretty well against the Clippers.
Yeah, he does.
And then Kyrie, I feel like he's in a good groove. I wouldn't be too worried about him, but especially with the new additions, I just feel like, you know,
Hey, what's up? Back it up.
Gafford, PJ Washington, they brought a lot, so I wouldn't be too worried.
Nah, I'm not too worried. I think my biggest concern though going into the playoffs with the Mavs is like we definitely need like some more players to kind of step up that aren't like Luka and Kyrie.
Josh Green being out hurt.
Yeah. So definitely kind of, I miss the days of like Jason Terry, like that, just that incredible right. 6-man,
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, we'll see what happens. There's still like a week and a half before we head into that. And then we're not going to get into it this week, but NHL playoffs coming up right after that. So we'll talk about them next week, but a lot of good stuff coming up. I love this time of year, man. This is great stuff. All right, let's get into that first week of baseball because there was some awesome stuff going on. We already touched on a little bit of it. Bryce Harper hitting those 3 home runs, one of them a grand slam, giving the Phillies the win last night. What else do I got here? Well, I got good, bad, and I got the freaking gorgeous. What do y'all want to start with?
Start off with a bad.
Bad, yeah.
Get the bad out of the way.
Let's just get
it out the way.
Get it upside trajectory.
All right. I'm gonna start with what I feel like is the worst, at least for us, in our opinion, Rangers fans. We lost Josh Young 8 to 10 weeks. That unfortunate wrist injury turned out to be his surgery ended up being a little more complicated is basically what I got. And so he's going to be out 8 to 10. It was originally going to be a 6-week or anticipated to be a 6-week injury, but 8 to 10 weeks without one of our all-stars. So it's a little bit of a blow. We'll see how it goes. I mean, the Rangers are 4-2. We are undefeated over the series so far. Won every series so far. So, I mean, we're playing good ball. I think if I was looking at the games properly and I remember correctly, if the Rangers score 4 or more runs as of right now through these 6 games, we win.
Yeah.
The 2 games we've lost, we only scored 2 in. So take that kind of stat as you want. It's still young. We'll see how it goes. But I like that kind of stat and that kind of number just because number one, I mean, we've scored in every game so far. We have not been blanked. That makes me feel real good about our bats and how well we're doing. Our team batting average I had written down here was like 667. There it is. Rangers are batting 667 right now. Unfortunately, a big chunk of that actually came from Josh Young. He's batting like 480 or something right now.
Yeah.
I got to ask this real quick though. Is it Josh Young or is it Yash Young? Because I can't.
Josh Young.
Josh Young?
Josh Young.
Or Yash Young. Because I can't do the 2
Young.
J's sounding differently. It doesn't.
I mean, you say what you want. It's pronounced Josh Young. Like a mix between Josh Hamilton and Michael Young. That's what I thought coming up. Then I thought somebody misspelled his name when I saw it on like Facebook or something. Before when he was coming up, and I'm like, son of a bitch, it's actually spelled with a J.
It's like Nowitzki and Nowitzki. Like, what is it?
Yeah. No, really, it was just one of those things. I was joking around with a buddy of mine, and I was like, you can't have 2 J's in your name and pronounce them differently. Just, it's not the way the alphabet works. So pick a lane. It's either Yash Young or Josh Young. So
I have 4 E's in my middle name, and 3 of them are pronounced differently.
That would be hilarious, actually.
I mean, that's what my name is.
Yeah. That's fine.
But I mean, Josh Young, for respect purposes, he is an all-star and he did bring me a World Series, so I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
He's been playing great. Hopefully the recovery goes well for him and we see him closer to 8 weeks than 10. Definitely want to get him back on the field and everything.
And it's early in the year too, so it's it's a million. Season,
give Justin Foscue a chance to get something too. I mean, maybe you got something there.
Yeah, he's on my good list here. But hopefully it works out. You hate to see a guy get injured, especially like a broken wrist on a hit by pitch type situation. That's unfortunate, especially like pitcher should be a little better than that. You got one job. Don't hit the guy.
So real quick,
It is.
while we're on Josh Young, do y'all? I don't, but do y'all think it's unfair to say he's injury prone? Because it's the type of injuries. It's like, okay, if anybody gets hit as he did with the right, like they're
out for
their
long
wrist, right?
Yeah.
They're. I mean, because his injuries have all kind of been freak injuries. Well, a lot of them, like when you break a bone, it's hard to say you're injury prone. But I've seen that narrative out there, and I'm like, I mean, it's weird as little as he's really played. You know, this is really his third season, not even, I mean, really just his second full season to start. And he's dealt with a lot of injuries, but I just want to make sure that we all agree on that. Like none of this points to he's injury prone. He's not going to pull hamstrings or tear anything easier because it's weird.
Yeah.
Broken bones, fracture.
Yeah. Harder to say he's injury prone when it's not his fault, you know?
Yeah. It's those type of injuries like the hamstrings, the quad strains. If there's like multiple, maybe like even like an ankle, like ankle sprains and things like that, I feel like, but no, if it's somebody,
even like
pitch, like it's
well, even like if we were talking about like that Cubs pitcher that pulled his hammy on opening day, something like that, you know, it's like we could talk about being injury prone on something like that because he wasn't making like a huge, hard, athletic play or anything, and he, pulled his hammy. But you know,
you can't be like, well, he's got soft bones. He just breaks bones easier,
right?
Like,
yeah. When someone hits you with a fastball inside, it's kind of hard to be like, wuss, you know, like not as much your fault as it is the other guys, you know. All right, Chris, I know you got to get out of here.
Man.
But we always love having you and everything. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to be back on. Yeah, be back on. Same time next week, right?
Yeah, same bat time, same bat place.
Yep.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Yep. See you.
See you later, Chris. You know, I'm gonna buy him a beer, or I guess he lives in Chicago. I'm gonna send him beer money. If Ross does ever jump on here and has a green tie, I'm gonna give Chris some beer money.
That would be a big win, actually. I'm not sure if he's gonna make it though. I text Ross and I sent him the link. Not sure he's gonna make it though. Which is unfortunate. We miss you, Ross. We wanted you to be here.
It's okay. We got this.
We'll keep the Ranger conversation going a little bit. Keeping it going with the bad. Wyatt Langford, 0 for 4 today, 6 for 25 over the week. He's batting .240. What do you think? Is it time to panic, or are we just kind of getting into a flow?
No, not at all. I mean, it's so early. Like even if they weren't, what are they 4-2? Even if they weren't 4-2, if they if they were 2-4, I still like it's way too early. They've been winning, they've been finding ways to win. Like this is the first win where they just kind of controlled the game the entire way through. I mean, I know they pulled away the other day, winning 9-3 or whatever, but it's his first major league experience. I mean, he's getting hits. It's not like he's just completely shut down. I mean, he did go 0 for 4 today, but you've been seeing him get in there. Like he's made rookie mistakes, but you I think it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before, where there was like an infield out. He goes from first, almost scores. Like he had a heads up play to go to third. If he doesn't try to go home, and when that was a heads up play too, he just didn't make it. But he had a heads up play to go to third because nobody was covering third. That's not a thing rookies normally do. So.
No, the way heads up play there.
The way it's happening,
he was very close to scoring that run.
Very close, yeah.
Very close. The pitcher just got back in time to tag him.
Yeah.
But I agreed because honestly, it was crazy. I was watching it and like all the audio and everything had messed up for. I'm not going to shout them out, but the channel I was watching, all their stuff had messed up, and so it was literally just. Video of the game. And as the shortstop was going to throw the ball to first, you saw Langford just kind of round second and head straight for third. And
you didn't see what happened.
How many outs were there? Like I thought initially when I saw him running, I was thinking there must be 2 outs. And then they got the out at first, and Langford was still running apparently, and they showed the play at home. And again, there's like no audio, so there's hardly any context. The graphic in the corner for the score and like the outs and everything isn't there either. So
I was at a sports bar for lunch the next day, and they were showing the Bally's version of it. I know I watched the same thing you were doing. They had technical difficulties,
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
didn't really get to see it live. So I
Yeah,
saw
the
it,
replays too.
the replay of it, but I saw it like in real time, and I'm like, that was great. I don't,
Great play.
I don't blame him at all, because
No, not at all.
you want them to see those heads up plays, and yeah, it cost him, but it just kind of gives you a little bit of insight into what his career is going to be like, what you have to look forward to.
Sure.
I'm not worried at all. Like, yeah, you wish you would kind of bring over the dominance, but that's how it works. You get harder competition, you're going to struggle, but they're winning. Like, it'd be different if they weren't winning. There's so much firepower in this lineup that it's okay that he'll pick it up. Somebody else will be struggling. That's just how it's going to work.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm also going to do some of these because I still got these going. I'm just going to open one or two on here while we keep talking, and I'll do some more short videos for the social media pages. So, if you guys want to find us on social media at Peak One Sports on all social media platforms. If you have a social media platform that we're not on, let us know. We'll get on there. Yeah, right. If you know of one. But man, that Wyatt Langford is definitely one rookie card that I'm definitely going for. It's not going to be in this set, obviously, but when the new one comes out for 2024, that's definitely one I'm trying to get my hands on, because man, I'm really excited about seeing him. And then we can talk about it a little bit too, jumping forward just a little bit. The call up for Justin Foscue, the number 5 prospect. Should be a good replacement for Josh Young, a good infield player. So definitely looking forward to that. Obviously, we want Josh Young to make his comeback as soon as possible. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe if Foscue has a pretty good showing, you might have 3 runners for Rookie of the Year. I know Evan Carter's been really disappointing so far. But Wyatt Langford he's been significant. Evan Carter's just kind of been bad. If he can get things going again, I think he has a better opportunity than most rookies, because he made an amazing run in the playoffs on the way to the Rangers winning the World Series. So he's kind of on the radar already. And maybe Foscue, who knows? He has a great opportunity to make it. And now all of a sudden, so if Foscue does have a little bit of success, you have this Rangers team that off a World Series has an amazingly young roster. And Corey Seager and Simeon are like the old guys. I know, you have DeGrom and Scherzer, but just in terms of the lineup, like I don't think of Seager and Simeon as old. They're still in their prime. Right. I agree. But you have so many young guys on this team. It's incredible. No, that was honestly my kind of big thought too, was like bringing up this number 5 prospect. And I'm not necessarily trying to like put too much pressure or expectation on the kid, but it would be amazing if he came in here and it was like suddenly we've got another Rookie of the Year candidate on our hands. Even without Foscue, we have, like you're saying, like we already have an incredibly young team with guys like Simeon being our old guys, our veteran players, and they're really not that old. In fact, I'm going to argue like they're in like their prime, which Simeon's still like 29 after your sophomore, third last year it was Seager and Simeon were 2-3 in the MVP race, and that's not that's not going anywhere. Simeon is has played every season. He's missed 1 game in the last 3 years. He's playing lights out. Like even last year it seemed like Simeon kind of was going cold for a little bit with his bat, but then in the end, when you see the overall stats, you're like, damn, Simeon had a quiet MVP type run last season. He really did. It was amazing, because I don't think people were really even talking about him until it was kind of the end of the year, and everybody's like looking at stats and everything. It was like, man, this guy, like, and I think it'll be similar this year, because you have so many storylines: Evan Carter, Josh Young, Corey Seager trying to win another MVP. Foscue's now up. You have Wyatt Langford. You have all the questions around the pitching staff, and then in another month or 2, you're going to have Scherzer coming back, and then DeGrom coming back maybe another couple months after that. Like, I think it's a good opportunity for Foscue, because
he's not needed as much. Like, he's coming up to fill the roster spot, but he's not going to be your everyday third baseman. I mean, he might become that if he does well, but there's so much going on. It's not like this is a bad team. We're just bringing him up, showing everybody the future, and he's like, okay, I have to make a big impact now where people are going to stop. They're bringing me up to bring interest to this team. It's not like that at all. Whether he wants that or not. I mean, I feel like in this situation, your rookie year can kind of go under the radar, whether you want that or not. But I think it's a great opportunity. If he's struggling,
need or want that pressure,
yeah. Or if he's struggling, just put him on a bench for a couple of days. It's not like the Rangers have to have him in the starting lineup. There's so much firepower in there.
And honestly, that, in my opinion, it's the best situation for like such a high level prospect to come into, because just like you're saying, we don't need him to play lights out ball. You know what I mean? It's like we literally need him to come in here and like get a base hit, or something, like get on base, every game or whatever, and just help contribute to the team in small, pretty minor ways. Because the rest of the team is talented enough to help kind of, I don't even want to necessarily say like carry him, but in the sense that like carry him in the sense that like he doesn't have to play that lights out ball. He's not being brought up to elevate the team. He's not being brought up to like make an impact. He's literally kind of more or less being brought in as like a bandage with potential.
Yeah, your number 5 overall prospect typically doesn't come in to just kind of fill in third base, first base, DH, whatever boat you might use him. Those 3 for sure. Or he's just kind of giving a guy a day off here. And then see where it goes. Like if he struggles a couple of games, Ochi's like, well, let's just give him the day off. Let's reset. There's not all this spotlight on him where he has to play every day and struggle or whatever.
Sure, you can definitely spot start him. I definitely agree with that. All right, still on my bad list here. I've only got 2 more things, but I think they're probably my favorite ones to talk about. Opening day umpires missed 166 calls. Are they in mid-season form already? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, they just missed
game
today. They just missed a call. I don't remember what was it, the 9th inning? Yeah, the top of the 9th inning. Like they just missed another call, and then obviously all the controversy, which it hasn't been as big a controversy because the Rangers ended up winning the game, but the whole thing where it was fouled off and Jonah Heim probably should have went and got the ball and tagged the guy out. That's like, even Jonah Heim knows that. He's like, man, I should just grab the ball, but he was trying to sell it and be like, no, it was foul. If I run to get the ball, you're going to, it was unreviewable and it was clearly a foul ball, but luckily Janikowski hit the home run in the bottom of the 9th to tie the game, and then Heim redeemed himself, hitting the walk-off single to win the game in extras. But I don't know why. Like, I haven't looked at the numbers. Like, I'm assuming that number is above average for a typical. Was that for the just opening day, or was that like opening series, or
that was just opening day across?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to throw a number out like that, and you're like, well, in a vacuum, that sounds like a big number. Again, I don't have the other numbers, like just any day, like what's their average miss rate, but that sounds like a lot. You're thinking 30 teams, 15 games.
Yeah. So from what I kind of read,
over 10 a game per game.
Yeah. From what I had kind of read, the like average umpire misses something like, it's supposed to be something closer to like 2 calls a game. And as of late, it's just been crazy worse.
Does it count like all balls and strikes?
Well, so it's obviously like balls in the strike zone called balls, or balls outside the strike zone that are called strikes. You know what I mean? So just missed calls, balls, and strikes.
I can see that in general. I mean, why don't we just go to like some robotic system? Like, honestly, I get it. I get with the purist, but we can see on there in real time if it's a ball or a strike.
In all honesty, I gotta stop saying that. I feel so, Anyway.
Even leave the umpire there. Just like because obviously they have to call it safer out. You can use robots to review plays or whatever, but even have the umpire behind the plate, the home plate umpire there, and there's something in his ear, buzz, whatever, talks. When the robot calls it a strike, he'll say strike. When they call it a ball, he'll say ball or whatever. You can even have him there because you need the umpires on the field for, a robot's not going to call it like interference and things like that. Like you obviously have to have them, but just for simple balls and strikes, come on, man.
I kind of agree. Now, I would have been one of the original arguers that was like, bad calls are part of the game. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you can say the same thing with football, but it's.
Well, I made the same argument when baseball, instituted like the challenge and the replays, and I'm like, bad calls are a part of the game. But when it starts getting to a point like this, where they're making like a lot of bad calls, a lot of wrong calls, I agree. Like something's got to be done. And personally, like, if I'm just kind of brainstorming about it and everything, I agree. If we were to use like some kind of like laser system, grid, whatever, that would put up, like the, 3x3 box or whatever it is, the zone that the, pitchers are obviously trying to like touch, and I think it would be really cool to like see pitchers that are able to like just barely touch like the corner of the zone so that the system says strike, because he did touch the zone, he did get the zone. I think it would be crazy cool to see like pitchers of like that talent, that caliber, to be able to like do that instead of watching umpires just miss close calls.
Yeah, I mean, for better or worse, I guess I can see positives both ways, but it takes away the catcher's ability to frame the pitches.
Also true.
Where like, man, like Jonah Heim is really good at it, and you're like, man, he framed that really well. He called it a strike. That wasn't a strike, but he framed it well. And you can make the argument, well, it's not only missing the call, it's the player's ability to make it, look like it was a strike,
right,
or whatever. Hey, I can appreciate that. If you can give me real reasons why it's a bad reason to do it, other than like, oh, just leave the game alone, I'm a purist, whatever, because I get that too. I'm not necessarily a fan of the pitch clock, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But in general, it doesn't hurt the gameplay. Like it hurts the natural feeling of the game, I guess. Like the pitch clock is what I'm talking about. So, but I can't think of a negative reason. Like the robot's not going to get the call wrong. It's at least not as much as the umpire gets the call. I mean, because we get it. Analytics goes into it where there's a camera that picks up, low inside pitch or, whatever that, and it tells us in real time where the pitch was. And they're even relying on it now. I know before they used to say it's unofficial, but now they'll show the replay. The announcers will be like, I don't know about that one. And they show it like, right. Yep, that was a ball or that was a strike.
Well, they're
like,
obviously using the system to like grade the umpires and things like that. And to like know when they make calls or miss calls or whatever, in order to like, pick the best umpires for the playoffs and the World Series and all that. So, I mean, the system's obviously being used not just for like entertainment purposes and for us to see the zone better at home. They're using it in New York. And, I mean, I guess if it's going to keep going this way and umpires are just going to keep being this bad behind the plate, then I'm going to argue like something needs to be done. I would much rather see umpires get better at calling balls and strikes than to replace them with robots and lasers and that kind of thing.
But you're not like,
if that's what's got to be done.
You're not like taking jobs away or anything. Because like I said, you still need the umpire.
They still have to be there. They're still going to make like the safe or out calls, on bases and at the plate. I'm sure they're even going to kind of make the calls as far as, foul ball and whatnot. Foul tip, whatever. So I mean, they're still necessary. They're still going to have to be on the field, and I don't think you're going to even take one of them away. But because I think we're both on the same page here. We're purely talking about taking the umpires out of calling balls and strikes, not out of calling outs and safe or whatever. But yeah, it's just that's a frustrating one. And 166 missed calls in one day across the league is a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about, you know, what it wasn't even the full league playing, it was only half. So
That's true.
like 8 games or whatever.
Yeah.
166 missed calls is
It's like 20 per game.
It's unreal. Yeah, that's way too many. It's just way too many. All right, my final bad topic, the Oakland Athletics. I almost feel bad for them.
It's not the ugly. That should be in the ugly, I think.
Well, I didn't have an ugly. I got the freaking gorgeous.
Oh, I thought the first one was ugly or something like that.
No, I got good, bad, and the freaking gorgeous.
Oh,
My last bad one here. I almost feel bad for them, man. Oakland has always been like a loyal fan base to their teams. They love the Raiders. They love the A's, which is always kind of crazy to me to say because I don't feel like the Oakland A's have necessarily ever been like a super great team that you've wanted to be a fan of. But man, does Oakland,
like the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, you know, but man, does Oakland absolutely love their teams, and they just cannot get them to stay these days for some reason. Oakland Athletics are headed to Vegas next year, I believe it is. And so for opening day,
I think 2025.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, maybe it is.
Well, that's when the stadium's going to be ready. I know their lease is up in Oakland this year, so they might go play at a minor league stadium in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
But their stadium's not going to be ready, I think, till 2027. But that doesn't mean anything. Their stadium in Oakland's barely ready now. So
moving to Vegas, they're going to have a nice stadium, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But Oakland apparently sold something like 13,000 tickets to opening day.
Yeah.
And nearly all of the fans never went inside the stadium. In fact, they chose to tailgate and hang out, you know, amongst themselves in the parking lots.
Yeah, protesting it.
Yeah, kind of protesting the whole big move. I feel like I personally have mixed feelings about this. It's mostly just because if this is like their last season in Oakland, I feel like I'd want to be in there catching as many games as I could.
Yeah,
before the season ends. But
I'm sure the last couple of weeks will be that. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they definitely have the supporters because I want to say it was a game last year, or the year before, where they said, "Hey, we're gonna show that it's not us," because the owner was blaming fans aren't coming to the games.
Yeah,
but we're not coming to the games because of you. And I think they sold out a game. Like they said, "Hey, we're all going to go to this game just to show we support them." And then they sold out that game. It was ridiculous. It's the fullest I've seen that stadium in a decade.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It honestly, I mean, I can't imagine just not even being able to keep like any sports team in your area, regardless of like how long they've been there. And I can totally understand like all the frustration, especially with like the ownership and like you said, like calling out the fans and saying like it's their fault that Oakland is like failing as a business and unable to like stay in Oakland, and like that's why they're moving and everything. And I've never been buying that. It just I'm willing to concede the fact that like, you know, obviously Oakland is one of those teams. They don't have the biggest bankroll. They're not the Yankees. You know, they're on the bottom of the barrel really as far as you know, team cap and everything. But their fans have like always been there. They've always been fans, you know, even through like the tough years and everything. Yeah. So the frustration the fans must have is unreal to me. I honestly just can't imagine, especially like loving a sport and just not being able to, you're like, now you got to go to LA or you got to go to Vegas to like see your team, you know? And you're talking about moving these teams to like such locations that like is, in my opinion, gonna like obviously drive the price up. So it almost makes it harder for like fans to remain fans when the team moves.
Yeah, they're gonna have to just be fans of the San Francisco teams.
Yeah, I mean, right, or change. And I mean, I know me personally as a sports fan, like I would have a hard time just changing teams, you know? I mean, I've never been that kind of fan.
Yeah, because I mean, it takes a while to really get invested in them. You could certainly force it, like just constantly watch games, but it's going to take a while for you to really get invested in the team and the heart, you know, feel the heartbreak or the the exuberance of winning a championship. I mean, you can't just tack onto a team and then they win the championship. Like, yeah, I mean, but you're really cheating yourself because you're not getting that excited about it if you're not invested in them. I mean, the city of Oakland's got to be part of it as well. I mean, just the pattern. I don't know. I mean, they used to have a hockey team, an NHL team that left. I don't know the details around that. But when the Warriors went over to San Francisco, I don't remember hearing a lot of stories about not being able to build an arena or whatever. But it's the same thing centered around the Raiders and the A's, where the Raiders only played, I mean, outside of going to LA, the Raiders only ever played in the Oakland Coliseum. Same with the A's. So, like, they couldn't get a deal done. I'm sure it had a lot to play into it with the A's or a cheap organization or whatever. But you feel bad for them. They're just losing. They're going to be the only city, metropolitan area, whatever, to lose all 4 major sports teams.
Right. And I mean, and that's just so crazy to me. And I totally agree. I feel like it's gotta have something to do with the ownership, and probably more or less, I guess, in my opinion, just like they don't want to foot the bill for a new stadium. And I mean, I'm sure they need one. I'm sure they haven't done anything to their stadium and who knows how long. And now you're just looking for people to pay for it, and if that means like moving to a new city or whatever. And the crazy thing is that I think teams in Vegas is long overdue. You know what I mean? But I don't necessarily think that Oakland should have to give up all of their teams so Vegas can have them,
Yeah, I mean, Oakland sports fans might be the biggest victim of, I don't want to call it legalization because it's been legal some places for a long time, but just the widely accepted issue of sports gambling, where all of a sudden over the last few years we're all fine with it, because that's why you haven't had a team in Vegas. And so now that there's kind of a big city that can support these teams all of a sudden open, Oakland's like, screw you, we'll just go to Vegas, and sports gambling really screwed over the Oakland fan. It's a free market. Like, I'm not saying, hey, screw sports gambling because they screwed over it. It is what it is. But that's essentially what happened. Is they're really the biggest victims of all this.
Yeah. And I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not sure I could name another team from like another location or anything that would have been more primed to move to Vegas than some of these Oakland teams. I feel like I would always make an argument for like all the teams in LA or all the teams in New York, probably could have spread out and, reduced it down to 1 or 2 and, moved one of those teams out to Vegas. But yeah, Oakland being the one who has to kind of take the brunt of this. And I don't know, man. I wonder how many fans they'll actually manage to keep through this whole thing. Tough situation for Oakland.
I mean, the problem is with the ownership. That's what the fans are against. So yeah, I would find it hard for them to support the team leaving as well, because obviously it's however far Vegas is away from Oakland, a few hours. It's them leaving and breaking our hearts, and then it's a bad, an ownership group that you don't agree with. So again, I don't know what the climate is like there. Do they really, really hate San Francisco teams? Maybe they just like, hey, we're going to, Raiders fans, we're going for the 49ers, and A's fans, we're going with the Giants. I don't know. I know the Giants are a big reason why they couldn't build some of the proposed stadiums, because the Giants kind of blocked them from moving to certain towns in the area. But I don't know. It's probably blasphemy. I'm speaking right now that they would consider being a Giants fan.
Oh, right. I mean, see, if Ross was here, he'd be able to tell us a little bit better. I know he was living out in that area for a little while, and he got to go to like some Giants games and stuff like that. So he, probably be able to tell us a little bit better. But
yeah,
next week, hopefully he'll come back and join us and give us some of that well-earned Ross knowledge.
That razzle dazzle.
Yeah. Man, so as I'm just kind of looking at it too, it would seem that we actually kind of talked about a lot of my good topics I had here too. Rangers have won every series so far, 2-1. So we are undefeated in the series, or in each series so far. Taking on the Astros starting tomorrow over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We talked about calling up Justin Foscue, the number 5 prospect, and the fact that the Rangers are in fact batting a .667 and winning every game that they score 4+ runs in.
And the Astros are 1-5, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is that still current? I think they lost today to make them 1-5.
Let me see if I can look real quick.
Which is weird. That one win is a 10-0 no hitter.
Astros 2-5.
Oh, 2-5. Okay, I guess they won today.
They won today 8-0 actually.
Was it so? Their 2 wins or shutouts. Was that a no hitter as well?
Today's win?
I'm just asking you. Probably not. I mean, the chances of that.
Nah, just as
that's interesting. They're 2-5 and the 2 wins are shutouts. Interesting.
Yeah, that is.
So you don't know what to expect this weekend. The Rangers or the Astros going to shut you out, or are they going to lose? You score.
I mean,
right now, what it's told you, you score 1 run, you're going to beat the Astros.
I mean, I would love to sweep the Astros. So we just keep
they're 0-5 when they gave up a run, and they're 2-0 when they've scored a run, or when they've given up a run. So, just saying.
Well, there you go. I like that. I like that stat, actually. I like that a lot. Score 1 run against the Astros, and you should win.
Yeah, it's why analytics isn't always the best thing to look at.
Yeah.
But, you were talking about the Rangers score 4 runs, they win. Some of the Astros, they give up a run, they lose. That's very, very skewed stat shows. But,
For sure.
Whatever.
Well, you did also kind of just mention it, but Ronel Blanco threw the earliest no-no in MLB history, the Astros pitcher, which was also interesting because apparently, I think I read it as the Astros manager got his first win on that game, which was the first time a manager got his first win on a no-hitter, which I thought was a kind of a crazy stat. All the years that baseball's been played.
That's 2-5.
Yeah. And the Astros have the most no-hitters since 2019 with 6, I think it is.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Which is pretty crazy. And I believe we'll end up facing Blanco this weekend.
It sounds right. Probably Sunday, because they've had 2 games since then.
Yeah. I mean, it all kind of depends on
yeah.
how they're running their rotation.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I mean, I love when the Rangers play the Astros. The rivalry is always good in state, and not to mention the whole World Series runs and everything going on. They've definitely established themselves as a well-deserved rival to the Rangers, and I love the matchups. So always a good time, good series to watch. I want to say. No, maybe it's not this weekend. I know we have been talking about some of the kind of giveaway events that the Rangers are getting ready to do for some of their games and stuff. We're going to try and get out to hopefully 1 or 2 of those. I definitely want to try and get my hands on a replica ring. I know the first one that they're actually doing though is the replica World Series trophy, and then I think they're doing a Seager ring in May, which I might actually try and get out to if I can. Might try and make it a group thing. We'll see who else might be interested. But, if you guys catch us out there, make sure to just kind of say hi and let us know that, you watch the podcast and everything. But that's kind of my last topic for us, I guess. The freaking gorgeous. I wanted to talk about this Rangers championship ring because the minute I saw it, I need a replica of this thing. I mean, I don't think I could ever get my hands on a real one, but a replica. This thing is amazing.
I like the troll job it does also, because there's a lot of things that are interesting, like the initials of the teams spell out road. Which
I love.
That's the fact that you went undefeated on the road, but they kind of troll them a little bit, those teams.
I also, just because I happen to be looking at it and I was curious, did you realize that's the order we beat them in as well?
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
or I guess it's their logos, not their
like
initials. Rays, Orioles, Astros,
Diamondbacks. Yeah, and I was like, man,
it's really
like
cool.
it was meant to be.
That's why like I don't know that. I mean, obviously, I'm a religious person. I don't know that that has any effect on baseball whatsoever. I think it would be ridiculous for but baseball is one of those sports where you feel like there's a higher power at work.
Sometimes,
just with
yeah,
the curses they talk about. It seems like you talk about curses in every sport, but baseball, it's like there's always that weird like man, that's a strange coincidence. Like baseball has a lot of that, and that's something that it's just kind of ridiculous how it worked out. Like it spells road, and then you happen to go 11-0 on the road, and you win the whole thing on the road. It's really
right.
It's pretty cool.
I honestly, I could talk about the Rangers winning that World Series forever, man. I love it. The background on my phone is it's a World Series like trophy with the call from when they won, because I absolutely love that line. Like, Rangers fans, you are not dreaming. Like,
yeah,
just what a great day. And I'm with you, man. That was honestly my favorite one. Savage to put inside the ring road spelled out from their logos with 11-0 above it.
Yeah,
I love it. Love that so much. But because we kind of talked about this a little bit throughout the week. Just sharing images and things like that on Facebook. A lot of people were talking about it, but just throwing out some of the stats or some of my favorite ones. I didn't write them all down, but 103 sapphires for the total wins in 2023, as well as 23 red rubies to represent the 2023 season. 11 stones in the Texas T represent the 11 road wins, which was kind of the big theme for this ring, was the undefeated 11-0 on the road. 52 diamonds in the word champions for the 52 season history. 72 diamonds encircle the ring to represent the 1972 year that the Rangers came to Texas. This was one of my favorites, actually. They have one 3mm diamond, which is huge. That's a big diamond. One 3mm diamond represents their one World Series win and 3 league championships. I like that one a lot. That is a huge diamond, and such a cool way to be like, one 3mm diamond represents the World Series and your 3 league championships.
A lot of thought put into it.
Yeah, definitely, man. And they do that with a lot of these championship rings, which I appreciate. I think that's really cool that, they put that kind of thought and effort into making such a great keepsake for these champions. I feel like, I've seen plenty of championship rings over the years, and, Green Bay or Kansas City's rings, and they always do such a great job. This ring, though, honestly, one of my favorites. I love the way this ring came out. It looks great. All the meaning and everything in it was just spot on. It's got the history. It's got its own, like, the big theme, like I said, for it was the whole 11-0, record-setting road postseason for the Rangers. Just honestly, there was nothing about this ring that I looked at that I was like, oh, I wish this was different, or I wish they did this or whatever. Like, everything about this ring was just beautiful. I honestly cannot wait to get my hands on one of these replica rings. I'm going to do my damnedest to get at least one. I definitely want at least one. I haven't necessarily picked who, because I know they're doing like Garcia and Seager and I think 2 other guys. I'm not sure. But they're doing like five events, because I think the last one they're doing in September is one of the 4. It'll be, you get like a random ring. It'll be one of those 4 players. But really good looking ring. Really excited for the Rangers. Just for like a last bit of a thing here, that banner unveiling, though, man, frustrated the hell out of me.
Yeah, it's kind of in a weird spot in the stadium. For one, it's kind of low. And then there was that big wrinkle.
Yeah, and I don't know
who
or why they were holding on to it as long as they were. It was like, just let it go, man. And then it had that wrinkle in it the whole time. And I agree. I thought they picked a weird spot to hang it, and maybe it's just me, maybe like extra cocky or something. I thought it should be bigger.
Yeah,
I wanted to see like almost like a gaudy big, like, World Series champ. You know, I mean, it was your first one.
Yeah.
Put something up there. You know, like
Yeah, maybe they'll move it when they get number 2, and
yeah,
I don't know, but
you know, run it back this year, man. I would love
yeah,
to see
for
it.
sure.
The way the bats are, you know, screaming in these games, and we look pretty good defensively too. Eovaldi had 8 strikeouts today. A little rough start on opening day.
Bullpen's been doing pretty good too.
But yeah, honestly, the only guy I've had any like minor concerns about has been Leclerc, but he's actually been doing all right. So I think we're in for a good season. It's gonna be a long one, you know. Obviously, we got until October, but this is gonna be fun. I think we got a really good season coming for the Rangers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm excited, and I mean, really nothing to complain about. I mean, yeah, you could say, oh, White Langford could do better, Evan Carter, Leclerc, but I mean, overall, you're in first place. Astros are in last place, and you know you have an opportunity to grow that.
Well, even the Angels started off real rough too. They actually they've been on a 3-game win streak, so they kind of righted the ship a little bit. But those first 2 games were real rough for them too. So, but all in all, real good stuff. Good baseball. Speaking of baseball, man, and just promoting some extra stuff. We should get on PlayStation. We should play some games and do a stream sometime real soon. We could
for sure, yeah.
play some baseball.
We're definitely going to start getting into streams more often. I know the driving force behind that was NCAA, or it's not NCAA football. No NCAA, college football.
College football. Yep.
We're definitely going to have that. Hopefully that's releases like on a Friday or something. But yeah, I already have a stream done. I didn't have my mic or camera on. I was really just trying to test it more than anything. And
yeah, we're still working it out. I think we could have some fun though. Like if you and I were to like get on and like play some PGA against each other, or
PGA,
honestly,
anything, whatever y'all want to see posted down there. We're trying to keep with the sports theme.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know
sports
in the comments.
games, but I mean, e-games is a thing, so we could really play any, or esports is a thing, so we could really play.
Yeah, we could play anything. You ever played Rocket League?
I've never played Rocket League. No,
we could always give Rocket League a try. I'm not great at it, you know, but I mean it's pretty fun. It's a good game. And I mean I play all kinds of video games. You know, if you find me on TikTok, I've actually got some videos of me practicing like speed running.
I play some Grand Theft Auto, games. But I don't think
Grand Theft Auto.
The way I play would be appropriate to the show on here, but you know, you never know.
I mean, you know, we could always get together and just kind of hang out and do a stream with lots. I mean, there's so many games out there, plenty of sports games too. I'd actually just started playing the Tiger Woods PGA 2K23.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah,
and I mean, it's pretty good. I was literally just thinking, I mean, because we could do that. We could even do, you know, like basketball or football, and we can play against each other. We can play with each other. I mean, you can play co-op on those games too. So. You know, comment down below, let us know like what games you might like to see and whatever. We might just have to jump in and, you know, do our own thing, play whatever we like and just try to have some fun with it. But
yeah, for sure.
But it's still a work in progress. We obviously got to kind of work out, you know, days and times. And
this is your chance to tell us what you want to see, because we're more likely to go that direction.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like
the planning process.
Like I keep saying, we got lots of stuff in the works, but we're always open to suggestions. Always working on some different content to, you know, kind of bring you guys. Part of the reason I started doing the baseball cards and everything, and why Ashton and I have been talking about doing some video games, especially gearing up for this college football. That's gonna be a really good game. I'm really looking forward to that. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. Find us on all social media: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Peak One Sports. As always, we love having you guys. I'm Dan Boyer. This is Ashton, and this was the Sports Page. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
We'll see you guys later.
Oh man, great show. Love doing this.
Yeah, lots of fun. Like getting people in the chat over there.
Yeah, and you like this nice little. Thanks for watching.
This is great. Yeah, the music is great. Has this music been playing the entire show?
The whole show, man.
Yeah, because I've kind of noticed it in and out. Yeah, it's great.